I want to make sure we understand that this is part 1 of 2. So tonight we're going to cover mainly the time piece, effective time management skills. How can you have a more productive day? What are some things you need to do regarding your surrounding? What are some things you need to do regarding your mindset? What are some things you need to do personally? What are some things you need to look at internally to make sure that the 24 hours that you're utilizing is being maximized? That's what this week is about. Next week, we're going to talk about money. How cool is that? The money piece, how to increase your value, how to raise your net worth. How did I go from losing everything, man, in my 30s because I was frivolous in my 20s. I got audited in my 30s. Worst scenarios in the world that you can imagine happened financially, right? And then was able to recover because I learned some wealth principles and I used the freedom and time I had to recover and get off my assets and start building more assets. Now, every single day, I'm building assets. Why? Because I failed early and responsibly. I want you to write that down. I'm warming up. FAIR stands for fail early and responsibly. When it comes to time and money, there's nothing wrong with you being afraid, right? Most people are afraid to lose. They're afraid to risk. They're afraid of investments. There's nothing wrong with being afraid. But as long as you fail early and responsibly, you can always recover. That's not an age thing. That's a mentality. In other words, I'm going to go ahead and get my mistakes out the way so that now when my mistakes happen and I recover from them, the faster I recover from them, the faster I can get up, dust myself off and make it happen. So the slides I'm about to show you are going to happen in the next 90 seconds. Now we're ready to talk time and money and the secrets to creating wealth using those 2 principles. I'm going to say this again. If you have a bunch of money, you probably don't have a bunch of time. If you don't have a lot of money, you better have a whole bunch of time. But most people are broke and busy, and you cannot be both. Let's go ahead and make this thing happen. Now, for those I've never had the pleasure of meeting, my name is Brian Beane, and I own a personal growth and economic empowerment company known as Mentor to Millions, Inc. And what that means is real simple. I teach people in a nutshell how to change their income mindset so they can change their income. Everything I talk about is going to always lead back to you becoming a better person mentally first, a stronger person mentally first. It's not really about money for me. Money's the end result or outcome of what you need to thrive in America. Is capitalistic. That's just the way it is. And it's great to have it. I've been with money. I've been without money. And I can tell you having money is a lot better than without. All right. So money can't buy everything, but you can be miserable in some nice places. Okay. So I'm not saying money makes you happy, but what I am saying is I've been miserable in some nice places. And I've been without money and I've been miserable in miserable places. So you might as well take half of it and make it positive. No, seriously. But the bottom line is everything with me is not really about money as it is about mindset. If you become the person you need to become and change the habits that you need to change and get the training that you need to get and attend the events that you need to attend, you'll start changing and transforming from the inside out. There are a lot of people that you'll start to realize were only pulling you down. There are a lot of people that you'll start to realize, even in your family, that weren't really encouraging you. People at work weren't really, people in your family weren't really supporting you. People at work weren't really encouraging you, right? They never do. People that in your life sometimes aren't there for the reason that you think they are or the reason that they present themselves to be. What happens is as you get stronger and stronger and stronger internally, there are not a lot of outside things that can affect what it is that you're trying to do. And remember this, guys, I'm a little strong in my trainings, but this is the truth. You can always pick up and put alcohol and Band-Aids on relationships if they're worth anything to you in the future. But when it comes to you setting goals and getting things out the way, anything that looks like or anybody that looks like a impediment or a speed bump to what it is that you're trying to do, you got to go over it, around it, or through it. Let's start it off this way. Write that down. A, B, C. Go over it, go around it, or go through it. You can always go back and pick it up later. 9 times out of 10, most people that are not serving you well are those same individuals that will benefit when you do, in fact, make it where you're going. Let me say that again. Most people who right now aren't really serving you well, they'll be the ones that benefit from your journey when you make it where you're going. So don't worry about it. Okay. There are a lot of people that I don't necessarily bond with anymore that were with me in my 20s and 30s or whatever. There are a lot of people in my family that may feel like I've created some distance. Why? Because right now with where I'm going, I don't feel like they're encouraging me, whether it's directly or indirectly. I've made a decision that if the relationship is strong enough, we'll pick it up right where we were later. But right now I'm rolling. Put this in your notes. I can apologize later. I will apologize later, especially to the beneficiaries. We're going to talk about that tonight. So I'm going to pull up some slides. I want you guys that are meeting me for the first time to understand that I'm from the South, but I talk fast from what I heard and from what I do in fact believe. But I got some notes tonight. And if you're not actually on the live webinar, you can't see the notes. So I'm asking everybody again to go register for the actual webinar on my website. I want you to say to yourself two things. Does this make sense? And can I do it? If you can answer those two questions for yourself, the slides that you see here on the screen on the webinar, does this make sense? And can I actually do it? Don't worry about right now whether you agree or disagree with me. That's where most people on their learning curves make huge mistakes. They're trying to figure out whether or not they want to agree or disagree with what I'm currently saying. And here's the problem with that. What I'm currently saying may not resonate with the current you. What I'm currently saying may resonate with the person you are becoming. And when you get that you're not going to be the same person today that you will be in 10 years. That's why the person you are today won't have the income that you will in 10 years because of the transformation. So when you're taking these notes and when I give you these frameworks, resist the temptation to say, hey, I don't know if I necessarily agree with that. Or, hey, who does he think he is? Or, hey, I was always taught this and I don't necessarily understand that. Well, it may not resonate with you right now because here's the reality. I'm doing a different training for everybody watching this webinar right now. Even though you're watching the exact same slides, even though you're hearing the exact same voice, even though you're watching the exact same person, this is a different training for everybody actually listening. Now, how is that possible? Well, everybody's at a different stage in their life. I'm going to show you one framework that may not resonate with you at all because you haven't gotten to that point in income yet next week. I may show you a framework right now that resonates with everybody, but it won't resonate with you in 10 years because you'll be at a totally different net worth. Everything I'm talking about may not make sense to you right now, but put a pen in it, take good notes, and let's get ready for a brighter future. Let's hit it. First thing I want to do is show you this. Most people live on a staycation and have the nerve to plan a vacation. So remember, this week we're talking about time. We're talking about effective time management skills. Most people live and stay on a staycation and have the nerve to plan a vacation. Now, I was sharing this with a good friend of mine this week. And the one thing I had to express is I have no idea why they're always on vacation. Always. But they're always also complaining about their finances. Now, here's what I mean. To take a vacation means to vacate. To vacate means to get away from. Usually you're getting away from the norm, the hustle and bustle. You've been working hard. You've been putting in 80 hours a week. You've been building your business. You've been growing your company. Your profits are up. Your stress level may also be up. So you need to vacate your current situation in order to go gas up and refuel and come back and be a better person. That's usually what a vacation is for. Newsflash, most Americans don't need a vacation because they're already on a permanent staycation. So what people do, and the reason they waste a lot of time is because they spend a lot of time running away from what they perceive as the problem when really their vacation only helps the symptoms. That's like, in other words, you can't cure a cold, right? But what you can do is mask the symptoms. You can take some Robitussin, take something for your throat. After a while, the cold just runs its course. Your throat is not hurting and your nose is not running, but that doesn't necessarily mean you got rid of the cold. That means you treated the symptoms. Everyone knows that. Well, the same thing is true for most Americans who spend all this time on vacation. What have you really done? Not everybody now. And if it's not you, don't put on the shoe. But what have you really done to deserve a getaway? See, the reality is this. Most people don't realize what it actually takes to get the goals and dreams that they claim they want. Here's a good note for you guys. Burnt out is when your desire is high, but your work ethic is low. Burnout is what's called in the middle. That means I want things. I want the house. I want the mansion. I want the yacht. I want the cars. I want the freedom. I want the flexibility. I want to travel. You want all these things mentally, but your work ethic is saying, I'm going to sit right here. I'm going to stay on social media. I'm going to tweet all day. I'm going to flip through Instagram. I'm going to watch some YouTube videos. I'm going to watch So You Think You Can Dance. Or When is Survivor coming back on? How are the have and have-nots? Meanwhile, you wanted to have-nots. Okay, you understand what I'm saying? Most people don't realize it, but they're burnt out mentally trying to think about what it is they need to do, when the truth of the matter is they know what they need to do, they just don't have the courage to do it. So we now go on vacation to escape something, right, and get away from ourselves, and guess what? You end up taking yourself with you anyway. And guess what? You bring yourself back, and guess what? You got the same problems you had when you left, because you're treating the symptoms and not the problem. So what you need to do right now is decide. Look, I'm gonna make sure this is a metaphor now. This is not an anti-vacation webinar. This is not an anti-vacation training. I'm talking about your mindset, where most people actually feel like they need to get away when they need to be spending that time doing the things and refining their life and refining their environment and refining their surroundings so that they can change their situation. So that's a good Beane meme. We call these Beane memes. I'm gonna give you guys 2 or 3 Beane memes, and just make sure you put my initials in there. You can use it the first time, all right? But afterwards, I know you're gonna claim it's yours. Most people live on a staycation and have the nerve to plan a vacation. You're already on vacation. Now let's get up of our butts, get our butts in gear, and create some assets. How about that? How to play that off for you. Now, here's some common myths and misconceptions about time management. And of course, on part 2, money management, next Thursday. Here's some myths again and misconceptions about time management. Number 1, most people think that failed relationships are the reason they aren't reaching their full potential. Well, if my wife would just do this, and if my husband would just do this, and if my coworkers would just do this, and I wouldn't have to do that, I'm gonna prove to you that that's not 100% true. Most people think they aren't where they need to be, and they're not reaching their full potential because of a lack of opportunity. I'm gonna prove to you right now that's not true. I have on one of my keynotes, I talk about this. The transgressions that have taken place in this era that you happen to live in are unbelievable. I was talking to my son last night. I went upstairs to his room. He on the phone with a little friend girl. I think it's actually his girlfriend. And man, she just fell out over the fact that when we used to text, we used to have to hit DEF, DEF, ABC, DEF, DEF, and that spelled like one word. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Don't play, man. Don't act like y'all don't remember hitting DEF, 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 and that was if you was trying to spell fed, and you had to do DEF, 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 DEF if you were trying to spell feed. Crazy. She fell out, but guess where she fell out? She fell out on FaceTime. When I was coming up, that was some George Jetson down the road. Oh my God, one day we might be able to do. That was some unrealistic super space age wannabe down the road technology. These kids FaceTime. Look, my son will FaceTime and not even have the phone in his face. He FaceTime with it in his pocket. I'm like, what's your girlfriend? Is she looking at the dark? But the technology and the things that have transpired on your watch are unbelievable. And you mean to tell me you think a lack of opportunity is the reason you're not succeeding? That's not it. That's not it. You think it's the educational system. Yeah, the educational system is outdated. But that's not the problem alone. You think it's your job and income. Yeah, all of us could use more money. All of us could use a higher salary. All of us could use more revenue. All of us could use higher profits. But guess what? That's not necessarily it. All of this has some truth to it. But you know what you really need at the root of failed relationships is wasted time. You're scared to have the discussion you need to have. At the root of lack of opportunity is wasted time. Instead of going to the meeting or watching this webinar undistracted, or going to the seminar or flying to the retreat undistracted, you would rather waste time at home because that's where your comfort zone is. It's not the lack of opportunity. You're wasting time. It's called neglect. See, when you neglect to do the things that you need to do, and when you neglect to do the things that you should do, and when you neglect to do the things that you have to do, then you're stuck with the things that you don't want to do. And when you get that, you'll realize time is at the root of all of these. The educational system. Let me show, and jobs. Let me show you what inspired. A huge inspiration to me launching this time and money management course. I'm gonna give you guys the offer at the end is gonna blow you away. You're gonna be able to share this with your grandchildren. This slide on my screen says, this young lady, I saw this on Instagram. I graduated undergrad with $38,200 in loans. We're talking about college. To date, I've paid $20,763. So her loans were $38,200. To date, she's paid $20,763. Her balance is $37,615. Now I'm just gonna stop. I'm gonna take a quick sip, and I want you to tell me what the hell is wrong with this picture. This broke my heart. See, your success is tied up in your daily routine. So for everyone who thinks it's their degree or lack of, not 100% true. For everyone who thinks it's their job or income or lack of, not 100% true. The problem in all four of those myths and misconceptions is the time that we put in making other people happy, the time that we put in making other entities rich, and then you deprive and rob yourself of the happiness that you seek. She had $38,000 in loans, paid $20,000, her balance is $37,000. Now we all know it's because of interest, but it's also what we do with our time that makes other people wealthy, and then we wonder why we're so frustrated and have to take a vacation away from our staycation. Once you master your time, you master your life. Put that in your notes. Once I master my time, I master my life. Let's get into some tactics. Let's get into some, because I don't want to talk conceptual tonight. I want to talk real step-by-step techniques tonight. And I'm not going to keep you all long. I'm going to give you the special offer. I'm not going to keep you long. First of all, what people don't realize is their environment is what typically cultivates the habits that they usually develop that crystallize into permanency. Let me say it again. Your environment typically cultivates the habits that you crystallize that eventually turn into permanency. Now that's a long-winded way of me saying the people and the environment that you hang around shape and mold who you are. So after a while, you got to wake up and start saying, wait a minute, man, wait. Now, if I'm going to get to the next level, how do I keep hanging around the same people who got something slick to say? How do I keep hanging around the same people who don't support what I do? How do I keep hanging around the same people at work who get here every morning, drink coffee, and at 9 o'clock on the dot, they turn into robots? And none of us are talking about our investments. We're not allowed to drive a new car to work. God forbid you do that, or your boss feel like they're paying you too much. Your neighbor, you feel like is jealous because you built the deck on the back, and now you feel like everybody's talking about. In other words, your environment cultivates and crystallizes into permanency the thoughts and ideas that you derive everything from. So what you have to say to yourself is, wait a minute, where am I getting my thoughts from? Who am I hanging around? What do they have me thinking? What do they have me saying? What do they have me reading? Who do they have me becoming? And here's the big question. Is that all right with me? Put that in your notes now. Who am I hanging around? In other words, who am I spending my time with? What do they have me saying? What do they have me thinking? What do they have me reading? Who do they have me becoming? And is that all right with me? If the answer to that is no, it's time for you to change your circle. It doesn't mean you leave people behind. Some people, yes. But it means you got to diversify your circle. So here's, to me, some great diversification on the screen. 33% of the people you hang around, you should be learning from. See, I'm at a point in my life right now where I want to be the dumbest person in the room. I don't want to be Brian Beane that people stop me in public. You on YouTube. I want to be the person that's absorbing. I don't want to always be the person that's giving the advice. I want to be the person that's receiving the advice. I want to be the dumbest person in the room. That's the circle I'm in now. Everybody is doing better than me. Everybody is making more than me. At least 33% of the time. In other words, for me at one point, it was very lopsided, right? Everybody in this 33% that I'm hanging around, I'm trying to get where they are in life. That's how you grow. That's how you expand. Your only way to grow and expand is to change your environment and spend some time around people that are going to help you spread those wings and grow. I know what I'm talking about now. Now, spend 33% of your time with people you need to teach. Now, one thing about me, man, when I learn something, I'm going to bring it to you. I don't care what platform you're on right now. If you're on social media, if you're on the actual webinar, if you're watching me on YouTube, one thing about me, if I learn something and once I test it and it's beneficial, I'm going to share what I know with other people. Because once you become successful, it is your obligation in some form or fashion to give back. And I'm not saying go back to the hood and live there. I'm not saying leave the hood when you get away from there. I'm not giving you any advice. What I'm saying is I feel an obligation as a person who's extremely blessed and have way more blessings than I do problems. I feel an obligation to help as many people as I can who are willing to come, take my time, and teach those individuals the same thing. Because then the universe rewards you as well. Now, you want to spend 33% of your time with people you want to grow with. The problem with me at one point in my life, I was 90% pulling people and 10% hanging around people that can grow me. Hell no. Those days are over. In fact, I'm being conservative when I give you 33, 33, and 33. I'm not going to tell you what my real scale is, where I am in my life right now, the people I choose to hang around. My point is, for a minute, for me to get to the next level, you got to look at these percentages, and these are the averages. But after a while, you'll find that even this may need to shift. All right, let's rock and roll. Now, 4 things you can start doing right away to improve your time management. 4 things. Now, but there are a lot of things I'm going to teach you on the actual course, but I'm giving you an introduction tonight, and I want to give you as many things as possible that I won't teach on the course itself, so you can go ahead and take advantage of it. Number 1, here's what you have to ask yourself. What is the value of my time right now? You got to set priorities. You see, what is the value of my time right now? So right now, for the past 30 minutes and the next 10 minutes, the value of my time is doing exactly what I'm doing right now. I don't care who's on the NBA draft getting drafted. That ain't none of my business. They're going to be millionaires, and they're not going to give me a dime. I'll find out about it as soon as I hang up anyway, all over social media, with people who are wasting their time watching other people get rich. Right now, the value of my time is teaching effective time and money management. So when I woke up this morning, I made a list of things I had to do, and at the top of the list was effective time and money management training. Here's a good note for you guys when you set your priorities. Never go to bed at night without making a checklist of what you intend to accomplish tomorrow. Now, I left you a little wiggle room. Let me say this again. Never go to bed at night without making a small checklist of what you intend to accomplish tomorrow. Now, you may not get to all of it. It may not all work out because, things happen and our path may get derailed at times. But the reason I say things you intend to check off, you get to a point in your life, man, where honestly, you start losing a little bit of sleep because you can't wait to get to your checklist. Like last night, I couldn't wait till today. I was like, I wish I was on stage, right, where I could see you guys. I'm going to kill them. I'm going to kill them tomorrow. They have to learn that one of the reasons I was able to retire when I was only 22 years old, I didn't let people waste my time. If you weren't into what I was into, next. So tactic number 1 in effective time management, ask yourself, what is the value of my time right now? You have to set priorities. Everyone needs you, but who deserves you? Put that in your notes. Everyone needs you, but who actually deserves you? So that's 2 quick notes under number 1. Don't you go to bed tonight without a checklist of what you intend to do tomorrow. And after a while, when you become really good at what's called goal achieving, instead of just goal setting, you'll lose some sleep. So excited about the things that you're going to accomplish the next day. Now you start looking more toward the future and less toward your past. What most of us do, because we're on staycation all the time and we can't wait for our next vacation because we're so tired from our staycation, is that we tend to look at the past instead of the future. And if you keep looking at your past, that's what your present is going to look like. If you keep looking at the past, that's what your present is going to look like. I got to keep moving. 2, concentrate single-mindedly on the highest payoff task. You got to concentrate single-mindedly on your highest payoff. So when you run into a dilemma, from a time management standpoint, you have to say to yourself, okay, what's the highest payoff task leading to my goal right now? What's the highest payoff task? You see, some of you guys, before you take a trip, you got to map every single solitary thing out. We're going to get gas at point A. We're going to take a nap at point B. We're going to do this at point C. Some of us know we need to get the navigation system on our phone, put some gas in the car, and as we go, we're going to figure out when we get a little sleepy, we know the area. I don't have to know exactly where I'm sleeping. When I need a little gas, I know exactly through my gas tank, exactly what the next exit is so I can make it happen. But meanwhile, my highest payoff task is to hit the road. What some people do, they make their highest payoff all this preparation. And what you're doing a lot of times is you waste time thinking about things so much that you delay the agony of going to work. Let me say this again. Stop delaying the agony of going to work. You think so much about what you want to do that mentally you're drained and you don't have the energy to do it. I'm not saying don't be a good planner. I'm not saying don't think things through. I'm saying that's not the only thing you can do, because that's a huge time waster. It's all the preparation you put into doing nothing. Just a theory I've been working. Number 3, avoid the negative suggestions of friends, relatives, and acquaintances. I'm going to tell you that right now, man. If you don't know by now that one of the number 1 things you waste time doing is listening to other people, gathering opinions. That's a time waster. Now, on my time and money course, I give you 4 or 5 what I call time depleters. And this isn't one of them. I added this one tonight. Go, you'll find out what the other 5 are for the promotion you're getting tonight. But one of your daily depleters is listening to other people's opinions. You know why? Because people are emotional. Emotion stands for energy in motion. So what happens is when they give you their opinion, if you respect them at all, it hits you a little bit. Now, it takes you 10 minutes just to wear that energy off. And that's 10 minutes you could have been doing something productive. And you ask this person about their opinion. You ask Bob what he think about Susan's opinion. Bob wasn't even at the discussion. So by the time you explain what Susan explained to you and get it to Bob, you wasted a half hour. That's 30 minutes you could have been doing working towards your goal. The minute you learn to close out the noise so you can really hear and listen to the voice of God that's telling you what it is you need to do, you'll be surprised how loudly it's heard. The problem is most of us don't hear the voice because we're too busy listening to people's unwarranted opinions. I'm going to tell y'all a true story next Thursday. I'm going to do it on the money. It's 2 parts. Time today, money next Thursday. I'm going to do it on the money section. Make sure you guys are registered. My mom's friend, man, one of my mom's friends, his house is 17,000 square feet. 17,000 square feet. I'm not telling you what I think. I'm telling you what I've been to. I'm telling you what I know. He gave me his opinion about what I should do with my life. I ain't saying it was bad or negative, but I'm glad I ain't listened. I still love him, but I'm glad I ain't listened. Okay? But had I looked at his lifestyle in this house, but I was listening to myself. I'm like, yeah, you good at that, but you may not be good at this. So I need to worry about my opinion and what I think. So, which leads us to number 4. Time for you to start maintaining a friendly alliance with 2 or more individuals who will back you with your plan and purpose. You have to have a friendly alliance. To combat number 3, you have to have number 4. You got to have a friendly alliance with 2 or more individuals who will back you with your plan and purpose. If you don't have that friendly alliance with people who will back you with your plan and purpose, you might as well consider yourself done. Because you're not going to make it. Because the people in number 3, the negative friends, family members, co-workers, neighbors, frat brothers, sorors, relatives, all those people, they're going to pull you back to the non-productive staycation side with them. And next thing you know, you look up and 10 more years done went by and your life hadn't changed at all. I just said to myself, I'm going to make some changes this year. Man, I had the flu. Let me tell you something. Man, I'm still like 10 pounds lighter. As much as I'm eating, I had the flu in March. And I just sat in bed for like 17 days. I was like, man, when I get up, God willing, I'm going to make some changes immediately. And start having more productive minutes and hours, seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, decades, centuries. I think God just said, you know what you're going to do, Brian? You're going to lay your butt down for a minute. Take a serious look at how many more people you could help if you just did certain things. And that's exactly what I've been doing. And that's exactly what's been showing up in my life. Won't give you that today. Don't feel like getting that deep. But you need to surround yourself with people who will back you with your plan and purpose. Or if not, you'll end up with number 3. Now, being mean before we go, or before we take a quick transition. A broke person can't have an agenda. A broke person cannot have an agenda. I'm going to be honest with you guys, man. A pivotal point in my life, I took a trip to Cherry Hill, New Jersey from Atlanta. Now, I don't know how many of you guys ever drove from like the south all the way up to the north. I went to Miami, but Atlanta's far enough when you're trying to get to New Jersey, going to New Jersey. I'm 19 years old. Broke as I don't know what. Some of the leaders that I was following at that time said I needed to be at this conference in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. We packed a hot van, slept on the floor because we couldn't afford all these hotel rooms. So it's about 6 of us in each room, on the floor, in the corner, whatever it took. When I tell you that had I not gone to that trip and learned the things I learned, it was just the light bulb moments that went off for me. To see somebody, I was 19, so to see somebody about 6 years older than me making millions of dollars at 26. That changed my life forever. But had I left my broke butt at home with my agenda, you know what I'd have been doing? Nothing. Nothing. A broke person can't have an agenda. When you broke, you need to be real focused with where you spending your time. But most broke people are the busiest. Hey man, got that ball game today. Hey man, I gotta be at a wedding. I'm singing Friday at the wedding. You know what I'm saying? I can't make this and that. Don't have a dime. Hey man, I gotta work a little overtime. Hey man, I'm putting together my lawnmower. I promised myself I'd tackle that paint job in the garage this week. Paint job, garage looking like, anyway. Broke people can't have an agenda. I'm not talking about you. I don't know you personally. I'm telling you what changed my life. I was broke and busy. That one trip, some of you guys don't recognize what's called your tipping points. When you start spending your time doing certain things, your whole life can flip around. That one trip, that long, hot van, that sleeping on the floor, but that seminar I got that weekend changed my life. And when I tell you that's all I needed, 3 years later, I was off my job. Now, some of y'all look at time because you don't understand it, and you say to yourself, damn, he retired when he was 22 years old. Yes, I'm 44. I've been working from home 22 years. And people say, man, see, if I were to tell you that in 3 years you would never work again, some of y'all will be like, man, that's a long time. Why 3 years? Brian, give it a shortcut. Some of y'all will say, man, 3 years is nothing. I've been working for 30. It's all relative. So 19 to 22, it was worth that 3-day weekend. 3 years later, I retired from the same training and the seeds that were planted at one event in North Carolina. I'm sorry, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I'm thinking about Chapel Hill, North Carolina. Cherry Hill, New Jersey. I'm telling you what I know. I'm not telling you what I think. So here's your homework assignment. Here's a big bonus for you guys before you go. I'm going to give you a huge, huge, huge coupon on the entire course and a huge, huge, huge incentive. You're going to be like, Brian, you got to be joking. All right. What I want you guys to do tonight for your homework, I want you to take out a sheet of paper. I want you to take a line straight down the middle. And I want you to say, I want you to write down 3 things you've done for yourself lately where you were the beneficiary. And I want you to write down 3 things that you've done for others where you spend so much time worrying about other people. Now, I'm not talking about your children. And I'm not talking about your family in this case. What I mean is this is the caveat. In the past 48 hours, I bet most people can't name 3 things they did for themselves in the past 48 hours. That's the caveat I meant to put on the slide. In the past 48 hours, who was the beneficiary of most of the tasks that you've done in the past 48 hours? I guarantee you what you've done for other people, easy to come up with. You know why? Because that's where you're spending your time. And I bet you got to think about, well, what did I do for me? Where you benefit, where you're the person that receives the growth, where you're the person that receives the accolades, where you're the person that receives the reward, where you're the person that receives the features and the feel good and the endorphins necessary to keep yourself going. What have you done for yourself in the past 48 hours? Now, I got another question for you. I want you to write down those same 3 benefits on another sheet of paper in the past 48 hours. And then I want you to write down what are the 3 things you've done that led to your detriment. Most people can think of the right side of this sheet of paper easily. I know what I did for others. I picked up so-and-so's son. She asked me to. And you saying it with attitude, but you the one said yes. I'm not saying say no. I'm just saying don't say it with attitude when you agreed to do it. Let me see. I went to work today and I had to do such and such a job for them. We always do things that benefit others. When's the last time you did something that benefited you? Let me make you feel better before we go. You ever seen a baby give away their bottle? Brian, what's your point? My point is it's okay to be a little selfish just for a little while as long as you're going to give back for the rest of your life. See, I was selfish, man. I'll be honest. Between the ages of 22 and like 28, I didn't care what nobody said. I lost great relationships. I lost some good friendships. I had my heart broken. I broke some hearts. All that stuff happened. But boy, I tell you the truth. I was selfish and all about my business because I wasn't about no relationship. I wasn't about no friendship. Didn't meet a whole bunch of people in college. Didn't have a whole bunch of friends in big circles. But boy, I tell you the truth. Because I was selfish, I'm giving a whole lot back to a whole bunch of people now. I promise you guys I keep up to date. Hit 1 million views today on YouTube. 1 million views. Now what's the next goal? To get 1 million views on one video. Right? So I'm spreading the message. My word is reaching, my message is reaching people. Right? There's power in those things. So it's nothing wrong. My whole point is there's nothing wrong with you being a little selfish for a minute, because it's been about other people for a long time. When it comes to your time, you got to pull some of that time back in and feed yourself so that you will be worth something for other people. You understand? So don't let nobody tell you, you know, man, you're acting strange, you're acting different, you're acting distant, you're acting this. No, it's not that. It's just that you got some priorities you're trying to accomplish for the next 90 days, 6 months or whatever. And then we'll all benefit if you still around when I get back. That's the attitude you have to have. And you don't necessarily have to be nasty about it, but you just got to be focused. And those that are focused with you will see that after a while, being taking care of yourself actually helps take care of those around you at the same time, because you're happier, so you spread positive energy. You have joy, which is permanent. Happiness can be temporary. You can be happy today and sad tomorrow. For the most part, you become a joyful person. And when you're joyful, that becomes permanent. And when you have permanent joy, not a lot shakes you. And when not a lot shakes you, you have positive impact on more people. So they'll see. But I want you to do your homework and ask yourself a serious question. What are the things that you've done in the past 48 hours that led to your detriment? In other words, what did you do to deprive yourself? I bet that's easy to think of. And what have you done to actually add value to yourself? I bet a lot of times that's hard for you to even remember. Now, I kept you guys way longer than I wanted to. Look, here's the reality. Another being mean before we go. A person with 2 watches never quite knows what time it is. You can't be getting pulled in a million directions, man. Y'all got to stay focused on the stuff I'm about to give you. And you got to stay focused on the things that I'm teaching you. And I promise you, one of your watches got to go. Only for a little while. You can wear watches all the way up to your shoulder if you want to, and have a watch for Europe, Africa, China, Australia, you know what I'm saying? All the, what am I saying? Asia, the 7 continents, Asia, North America, South America, Antarctica, Africa, Australia. You can have 7 watches with 7 different time zones if you want to, once you get yourself together. But right now, a person with 2 watches will never know what time it really is. So stop letting people pull all over the place, which often leads to your detriment. Listen, here's what I'm going to do. This time versus money course, $19. I said it, $19. I know some of y'all can't believe it. I'm about to upload this button on the webinar. Right? It's going to take you to BrianNBeane.com. For those of you that are not on the webinar, you don't have the button. But BrianNBeane.com, in the store, you've dropped the price of the time and money course to $19 to reward the people watching the webinar tonight. Now I got something special for you. Something else special. Now, if you don't have $19 and you're talking about making time and money, then you got the wrong mentor tonight. But let me just say this to you. On that training class, there are about 4 modules and some bonus modules. You're going to learn how to create more personal time out of thin air. See, some of you guys think that Oprah Winfrey and Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos don't have the same 24 hours that you do. Yeah, we all got the same 24 hours that they have. But they learn how to create more time because they're worth more money. See, what you have to learn how to do is create some time to make some money, and then you take that money and you create some time. I'll talk about that in the time versus money seminar. I'm going to upload this button in a second, but I want you guys to see this, right? We're going to teach you how to avoid the daily depleters. There are about 5, there are a lot of daily depleters, but I talk about 4 daily depleters that you need to avoid so that you can start getting your time back. We're going to show you what to do in your spare time. I want you to put this in your notes, guys. Your work ethic is what you do in your spare time. Everybody has spare time, but a lot of y'all spend y'all spare time scrolling on social media. What your spare time does for you is what creates the wealth, the spare time you have. We're going to talk about raising your personal value level. It's called your PVL, your personal value level. The higher you go up in personal value, the more you're worth to society. The more you're worth to society, the more valuable your time. The more valuable your time, the more you can ask for. The more you can ask for, the more valuable your time. The more valuable your time, the more you can ask for. Because you become in high demand because of your PVL. We talk about how to raise your personal value level and how to determine the money you want versus the money you have. Big difference, right? We talk about increasing your business operations and much, much more. All of this, $19. I'm Brian, upload the button. I'm uploading the button now. $19, normally $197 tonight for your time. 19. Just giving back what I was given. That's a life worth living. For those of you that did not get on the webinar, go to briannbeane.com. You didn't see the slides tonight, but as long as you get the email from the Time and Money course, then you have the coupon code in your hand. And although you missed these goodies right here, you can take advantage because at least you're listening.